What up? You're listening to the Gopher Broke podcast. We're going to dive into the Gophers who got drafted, those who didn't, who heard their names called. We're going to talk all Gophers things draft. We're also going to talk the transfers in, transfers out. The spring is done, and it is next stop is the season. But we got a little bit till then. So hopefully you're ready to talk some Golden Gopher football here with the Gopher Broke pod. What's up? You're listening to the Gopher Broke podcast. This is Kane, Rob, and Tristyn Spann-Ford coming at you once every week talking Gophers football. We're now in the slow season, folks. We're in the time where we're going to have to fill some slots, fill some talking points, but we got some talking points for this week. So we're going to be talking about the Gophers transferring in, transferring out, and the Gophers who got drafted from this past NFL draft. So we're going to dive into all of that today. But as we always do, first we got to kick it off with a gripe. Tristyn, what do you got going for me today?
So me and my wife, everybody likes to watch shows, right? And I've come to the conclusion that there's too many shows. Like every single project does not need to be a streamed show. Just make movies again. Things can be movies. Because I'm watching shows where there are episodes where nothing happens. I've just watched an hour of nothingness. Me and my wife started The Last of Us. We never watched the first season. Great show. Love it. But there was a couple episodes where I'm like, nothing happened in this episode. Make this a movie. Why can't this be a movie? Do two movies. Two good movies could get a whole show worth. Like, there's so many shows right now that, and of course, none of them are coming to my head right now, but it's just too many. Like, and it takes forever. It's such a commitment. Like, I don't want to commit a month of my life every single night to try to watch this show with my wife because you never get through the whole episode. One of us falls asleep. It's bedtime. You can't start an episode after 9 o'clock because that's just psycho behavior. And it takes so long. Like, just make this a movie. 2 hours, done. I'm entertained.
You know, I feel like this is the one where I just can't agree with you. I'm not with you at all on this one. I completely disagree. Also, I am the psycho that starts a show after 9 o'clock, and we get through it, my boy. We get through it. But what I will disagree on, there are some out there that could be a movie. I think of the show The Pit that my wife and I just watched, where every episode is an hour in the emergency room. And so they went from like 7 a.m. until like almost midnight, and every hour was an episode. So I could see how that could be just a movie, like where you could just do one day in the emergency room and you have all that. But when it comes to like other shows, I feel like sometimes you need that drawn out. You need a break, a week to digest what you just saw and anticipate what's coming next. And I feel like especially with things like The Last of Us, I need that moment to just like decompress, think about how it's going to go forward, and then prep myself for the next one. Look forward to the next one, and the anticipation makes it even better.
Nah, man, I'm out. I think I'm out on shows. I just can't. I can't commit. I can't commit. I don't know if it's my anxiety. I'll sit and scroll through 30 shows on a Friday night. What do I want to watch? What do I want to watch? Takes me 2 hours to find a show, and then by the time I pick it, first 20 minutes I'm asleep. Starting a show after 9 o'clock is crazy, Pat.
I have a counter for you. I have a counter for you. You can't have all movies. You have to have shows because otherwise, what if you get to like Friends or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Martin? Those can't be movies. Those sitcoms have to be shows. So you need shows in life.
Don't get me wrong. I like a good show. Some shows are good. We watch Silo on Apple TV. That's a show. That's a good show. But there were parts of it where I'm just saying, make this a movie. This could be a great 3-hour movie. Like, just make it a long movie, and it would be great. But I'm just saying, not all shows. You are correct. Sitcoms, those can't be. But those are like The Office. I don't want an Office movie. But those are like sit down and just kind of have on in the background type shows, which I can live with those shows. I'm just saying these big expensive produced
The
shows now.
suspenseful shows, the ones that are like
Yes.
drama series and things like
Yeah,
that.
I don't need that. I don't need all that. I can't. I just don't have the time to commit to that. Make it a movie for me. Make it a movie. Cut out all the nonsense. Give me the story.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that one. I need my shows. I love my shows, but we're gonna move on to the Gophers talk. We're gonna kick it off with a question, a Gophers question from Chat GPT. We're gonna do this every show throughout the summer, at least at the beginning and the ends of the shows, just to add a little spice, a little flavor, keep Tristyn on his toes and myself. I didn't even look at the questions until we started talking about Tristyn's gripe of the day. But our question of the day to kick off this show is: if the Gophers formed a band, and we'll say like a rock band. We'll say a rock band. If the Gophers formed a rock band, what instrument would PJ Fleck play?
Ooh. Well, I think PJ's a keyboard guy.
A
I mean,
keyboard
first of all,
guy.
well,
Okay.
obviously he's a lead singer. No, PJ loves to talk. We know that. We know PJ loves to talk, and,
You
and,
are
he's,
not
and
wrong.
he's good at it. He would rock a crowd. But part of me feels like he could throw some shades on and just be in the back. Just I don't know if it's the bald thing, but some like dark shades. The bald. Yep, just bumping on a keyboard.
You know, I did not see the keyboard coming, but now that you've put it in my head, I feel like I have to. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's engraved in there. Now, that being said, that's the instrument, but if you gave him a role, I think he's got to be the hype man because he's just got the energy for it. I mean, we've heard the man go, Flavor Flav, and I was sold after that. I mean, he's already auditioned. It's time to sign him up. You might as well get it going.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he would be the MC of the whole event. He'd forget all about the band that he came with. He'd just be like, "All right, I'm taking this over. This is you guys aren't running this right. The energy's not high enough.
He's the
Let me
guy
step in."
that once one of the band members gets sick or they have to pee in the middle of the show, he's the one that they send out to stall because he'll he'll
Yep.
keep people going, he'll talk your ear off and then get your guy back and ready to go for the rest of the show. So he can definitely get the stall going for the band.
He's the energy, all time vibes guy.
All time vibes. All right, so we're gonna kick it over to some real Gophers talk. We are officially out of the spring. The transfer portal is closed now. The Gophers can still receive or sign players on, but nobody else will be leaving, so that's a good thing. But when we're looking at the players leaving, we did have 6 players hit the transfer portal officially. But of those 6 players, I would say none of them are really consequential. I mean, you hate to see Tyler Williams go to the portal, but that's something we've talked about on this show is there were going to be receivers who left, and I'm shocked only one left, to be honest. If you told me at the end of the day we were only going to lose one wide receiver to the transfer portal, I'd be like, you know what? I don't care who it is at this point. I'll take one loss and we can handle it with the rest of them. So Tyler Williams is officially transferring. He is visiting. I don't believe he's committed yet to South Florida. So he's looking at kind of a step down when it comes to tier of competition. Otherwise, we had Alex Elliott who hit the transfer portal. He's a linebacker. Jaden Wright, who was like a fifth string running back at this point. He was a true freshman last year and he redshirt. He's visiting University of Louisiana Monroe. David Amaliri, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm pretty tapped in. Like I go to the practices. I try to stay up like on my Gophers research and who's on the roster and where they came from and how they produce. And I feel like I do a lot of research over the years, especially when I was at Locked On, but even continuing now, I've done a lot of work to know my Gophers and all that. Bro, I saw David Amaliri hit the transfer portal and the first initial thought for me was who? Who?
Oh,
Like I don't
that is
remember
not where I thought you were going with this.
I do not remember signing said kid. I didn't even know for a second what position he was at. I was like, wait, is this a specialist? Like, what are we? I felt bad, but at the same time, I'm like, that's how you know this one ain't critical, bro. I mean, like, I did not know who this man was.
That's stunned because I am confident you would hit about 98% if I were just like list off the entire roster of the team. Who's
Right.
on the team right now? You'd be 103 players deep of guys. You'd be listing off the managers and staff. It's crazy.
You know how in the NFL draft, which we'll talk about a little bit later, they always do the stump the truck and they try to see if you can list a player
Oh,
that they don't have film on? Bro, they stumped the truck. I had no idea who this dude was. And I felt bad for it, but at the same time, it tells you how consequential it is. Now, I did know who Jeremiah Finley was. I don't know if you know who Jeremiah Finley is.
Not
I'm going to
I
ask you to
don't know.
guess what position Jeremiah Finley played. He hit the transfer portal for the Gophers, by the way.
Jeremiah Finley sounds like is he a cornerback?
Yep,
D-back?
yep. He was a
Ooh.
quarterback. Quarterback rocking the number 21. I believe he was also 5'11". So I mean, I can tell you right now, all love to you. I hope you find a good landing spot, maybe at the FCS, maybe D2. We'll see what happens. I hope you can get some playing time, but it wasn't happening here. In all respect to him, he came out here, he walked on from California, he grinded it out, but I'm sure he wants to get on the field, so he hit the transfer portal. And then the final one was Zach Pyron. Zach
Mm.
Pyron. You know, I'll never know how to say it right because I won't have to anymore. But he is transferring to South Alabama. Now, we talked about it here on the show, but he had been brought in to potentially
I was about to
compete
say,
with Drake
is that the
Lindsey for the
quickest
quarterback
quarterback
one.
competition we've ever had?
Yeah, it was all of what, 5 snaps, and then they were like, all right, we got our guy. And so I thought, okay, well, he's going to have the backup role. He was a backup at Georgia Tech. He's served as a backup. He's held his own. Man, this dude found his way down to QB4, it seemed, for the Gophers. And
Oh,
so I am not surprised, not shocked at all that he ended up hitting the transfer portal. He is stepping down level to South Alabama. Now, he'll probably get some tick out there, which is good. And they have had some success passing the ball in South Alabama. So hopefully he can get some opportunities. He gets out of the Minnesota cold and won't have to ever experience that, which you're welcome, brother. I mean, at least there's one positive out of this for you. But those are the Gophers who hit the transfer portal. Are any of those detrimental in your eyes? Are any of those sad in your eyes? Or I guess where are you at with our departures?
no, I think the Zach Pyron was surprising, I'd say, just because he just transferred in, but not surprising for you because, as you've told us, there was no competition. But I think it was just surprising because, I mean, the fact that he just transferred in. But I do like that about the transfer portal, that guys are able to, at a certain point in your career, you can kind of self-evaluate and then make that decision to take the step down where you're like, okay, I can actually play and actually compete and not have to keep doing the, third, fourth string. So I love that about the transfer portal. Wide receivers, I I figured the same as you. I figured somebody had to go, but I didn't know who, and I would have been equally as kind of, well, hopefully he wasn't the best of all of them. With all of them, they're all like at the same level in my brain because I haven't seen anything from anyone yet.
Yeah.
So I was shocked also that there was only one that went, but I mean that's good, I guess. Deep room.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of potential, and now you've got guys who have been growing in the program for a couple years now, so we'll see who steps up in that capacity. I mean, I am sure if Kenrick Lanier, Nuke Hayes. I'm trying to think of another name that has been here for a while. If they don't get ticked this year, I would be absolutely like dumbfounded if they didn't hit the portal at the end of the year. So hopefully we find ways to get them on the field and get them incorporated because I love the talents of those guys. I mean, we've been talking about Nuke Hayes a lot over this last year. I've been mentioning Kenrick Lanier since before last season started. So those guys have a lot of potential, but it's time to get past the potential. We're heading into year 3 for those guys, and we need to see some production on the field. So hopefully they'll get the opportunity there. But on the flip side, we brought some names in. We did bring
Mm-hmm.
some names in, and I think most of these guys are probably rotational players or depth pieces. There's one name that really stands out to me, but I'm going to list them all off for you, and then we can talk a little bit about some of them. So we had Jaden Ball, who's an offensive lineman from Purdue. He's coming in. We got Emmett Moorhead, who is a quarterback from Boston College. We have Johan Cardenas. We'll get that right eventually. Running back from Vanderbilt. We have Mo Amanode from Purdue, defensive lineman. He played nose tackle a lot at Purdue. You got John Nestor, a cornerback from Iowa, a white cornerback from Iowa. Got to clarify,
Love that.
we know where
Love
they're coming
that.
from. We've got Brody Richter, a punter from UCLA, and Tom Weston, a punter from the D2 level. So I guess when I name those names right away, what is the first thing that stands out to you? What are the things you are excited about or have questions about? What are you feeling?
John Nestor stuck out right away to me. Again, like you said, white cornerback from Iowa. I mean, he's got to be good. And I didn't even have to look up that he was white because John Nestor is top 5 whitest names I've ever heard. So I saw that and I was like, okay, we got a we got a draft pick on our hands right here. So I'm sure he's going to pan out. He's going to love playing against Iowa. That's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm. Other than that, I didn't know any of these other dudes. I looked at a little bit of that D tackle from Purdue, but again, like you said, seems like a rotational guy. Like
Mhm.
get some reps here and there. How old is that I didn't even try to
The
say his last.
defensive lineman.
Yeah,
I believe he only has 1 year of eligibility
yeah.
left.
That's what I was kind of looking at. A couple of them don't have many years left, so
Yeah, I think the
I mean, hopefully,
quarterback
get
only
some
has
tick.
1 year. The defensive tackle has 1 year. But then I don't know what Nestor has. Nestor might have two. He might have two. But then I
But it'd
think
be
all the
nice to
rest of
have
them have
depth.
multiple.
Especially at the D line, we've talked about it. It'll be nice to have have a little depth and get guys subbing in and out and whatnot. So hopefully we good.
Yeah, no, I love that we added a defensive tackle that's got some size to him. I think he's 6'3", like 280, which isn't huge, but
Enough.
I mean he's played at the Big Ten level. He had
Yeah.
250 snaps over each of the last 2 years, so not combined or anything like that. Like he's played a good rotational role as a nose tackle for a Big Ten school. Now that Big Ten school was doo-doo, but he is a depth piece that can be
Well, Purdue's a
welcomed in here.
basketball school, so we have
Basketball
to
school.
remember that.
Yeah, he didn't get the time to shine because they were too focused on the hardwood.
Exactly.
But overall, if you look at his PFF grades, he's actually graded above average in each of those seasons. One of them he graded out at an 80, which is really good, actually. So I'm intrigued by him. I think he'll be a great rotational player behind like a Devin Eastern, behind a Jalen Logan Redding. So it's nice to actually have some depth there, knowing we don't know what we're getting from like a Rushan Lawrence or some of the young guys like Mo Sane and things like that. So I liked that addition. The running back addition, I'm indifferent on. He's a
Yep.
three-star running back last year. He redshirted last year as a freshman, so he's still got 4 years of eligibility. I think he had a connection with the new running back coach that came in, so that kind of helped him come over this way. But for me, he just looks like a depth guy right now. The
It's
Gophers
tough when
just
you have a
signed.
guy. When you have a
Yeah,
guy at a position already, it's tough to get excited about a transfer in.
right. But even with that, like I feel like I'm more excited about the other transfers we brought in, like the AJ from Marshall or like Cam from Washington. Like those dudes, I think can run the rock. Cam only has this year, but AJ's got next year's or the next 2 years. Darius could have the next 2 years, so like I think that's where my mind goes. And then I really like Fame Ejebois too. The dude's an athletic freak, and so hopefully he can stay healthy and get some opportunities in that room. So I don't see Johan getting much of a shot in the next couple of years unless we have our terrible running back injury year that we seem to have every other year. And what are we heading into we're heading
Yeah,
into an
we
odd
are.
year. So
Yep. This is an
that's
injury year.
typically when we get
This
the injury year.
and the
Hopefully,
schedule's looking favorable. This is
yep.
an injury year,
Yep,
unfortunately.
that always happens. It just always happens. Emmett Moorhead, he's going to be a backup quarterback, but I love his size, 6'5", 225 pounds. Played 3 years at Boston College, but he only really played in one of those years. He started 4 games, played 9 total in that season. 60% completion, 1,253 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So, I mean, he can maybe get the job done if you need him to, but hopefully he'll never have to see the field. Sorry, my boy. I hope you never have to see the field, but I
Yep.
appreciate you for coming in to Dinkytown. The ones that definitely intrigue me, John Nestor, that cornerback, I think they're going to play him in the nickel. I think that their hope is he can step into that Jack Henderson type role. Now, I've seen people on Twitter talk about, not Gophers fans, but like outside analysts talk about like, oh, he could be a really good safety. And I'm like, bro, have you looked at our safety room?
Yeah.
If
There's
he's
just
coming
no
to be a
way.
safety, he's not seeing the field. So I don't see that happening. It sounded like he had a little bit of struggles as an outside corner at Iowa, but to me that just tells me, all right, well, we need a nickel, and you can slot right in there and be our nickel, and I'm here for it. So I think
Yep.
he's one of maybe the only potential starters in this group, I think. And then Jaden Ball, offensive lineman. I like the upside, 6'5", 300 pounds, big dude. We beat out Ohio State to get him. So Ohio State did officially offer, and he was like, nah, I'm going to Minnesota. So
Correct
hot,
move.
Take that. Love that. He was a redshirt freshman, or I guess he will be a redshirt freshman. He played in 2 games last year, minimal snaps, and he has the size. I think he's a guy that's for 2026, though. It sounds like he might be moving to the interior instead of the outside. And so our interior right now, Greg Johnson, he's holding that down. And then
Yep.
the other interior position, I believe, is Marcellus Marshall. And there's somebody else who's battling with him at that right guard position. So I think that they'll probably have a year in there, and then maybe he could step in at the guard position 2026. So overall, I mean, it's a cool group, but I don't know if we're gonna get a lot of play time out of a lot of them. It feels a lot of it feels like depth. But the biggest question that I had when it came to this transfer incoming class from the spring, not only did we take 2 punters in Brody Richter coming from UCLA, 2 years of eligibility, and Tom Weston, a D2 guy with 3 years of eligibility, but why in the hell did we take 2 punters when we just brought in a 5-star punter who we beat Bama out for, who is from Minnesota, who was the number 4 punter in the country? He's coming in our freshman class right now, so he'll be here this fall. We've got that dude. We've got a redshirt sophomore who's been training with our pass punter over the last few years. So we had 2 dudes who have 3+ years of eligibility, and then you went and got 2 more punters who have
Yeah,
2 and 3 years of eligibility. Why do we need 4 punters?
that's alarming. It's alarming. That is very weird. But I mean, yeah, that's weird. But
I
hey, yeah,
can't
depth in every
imagine.
room.
I can't imagine we're going to have 4 punters to kick off the year. Something is, but
Yeah, but what's
they
going to
can't
happen?
transfer anymore. So what's going to
Yeah,
happen?
that's what I'm. Are we going to cut? We're going to cut punters? Like, why would we bring them in just to get their hopes up?
Hey, one of them's converting to wideout. You know, we're deep there too,
Yeah,
but they can start
exactly.
training.
Hey, what's Daniel Jackson? What is it? No, he's a kicker. He's a kicker.
But we got 3 kickers too, I think. We
What
got
the? Okay,
Denenberg
then
from
Daniel Jackson's going to
Syracuse,
have to suit up at wideout.
Daniel Jackson, and I believe we have another kicker too. We have 3 kickers and 4 punters. We got 7 kicking players on this Gopher roster.
I mean, I maybe you just maybe it is just the hey, whichever one of you's best. The other 3, you better hit the portal if you want to play.
Hit the
Like,
portal and sit out an entire year because we've
yeah,
already skipped your window.
that is chaos. It feels like a lot. It feels like a lot of roster spots being taken up by
Right,
kickers and
everyone's out
punters.
here freaking out about 105 roster spots and where could be the cutoff point. And I'm like, bro, we got 7 kickers.
Oh, hey, special teams is 1/3 of the game. Okay.
Hey, PJ is a mad genius out here. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
We're
We'll
gonna run
figure
the
it out
double. We're
eventually.
gonna run the double punter. They're not gonna know which player's kicking it. Line 2 punters up in the backfield. Who's gonna kick it? They don't
Every
know.
punter is gonna have a different package. We're gonna have different trick plays off of the punters. One of them's an Australian punter. The other one is a straightaway punter, NFL style. We're just going all over the place.
This guy really can sky it. This guy can pin him deep. This is a coffin corner guy here.
That's wild. But all right, that's going to do it for our transfers in and out. Let's talk some Gophers NFL draft. So the NFL draft officially took place. We know where people are going. We know who got drafted. The goal for this, we were hoping we could break the record of most drafted players in a single year for the Gophers. That record is 5. I thought we could get there at a tie. I thought that there was a very good shot we get there at a tie. You know, I thought there were 4 locks, possibly 5 locks, and then you had 5 guys that you were just hoping could squeeze in. And the NFL said, bruh, we do not mess with Minnesota. We don't like your helmets. We don't like your colors. We don't like your coach. I don't know what it was, but we ended up only having 3 players drafted, and even the third one just squeaked in there. So how did you feel watching this NFL draft and seeing not 4, not 5, not 6, but only 3 guys ended up getting their name called? Now, first off, love that they got their name called still. Still love to them, shout out to them, happy for them. But how'd you feel after that draft concluded officially?
I was surprised. And it was kind of crazy because there's last year obviously I watched the third day of the draft, was the worst. And then this year I found myself still watching the third day because of the whole Shadur thing. And, I was kind of expecting to just kind of have my, alerts on to see when Gophers got drafted, because I'm not sitting there watching all those picks. And so I will say I was kind of shocked that by even that third day, by the fifth and sixth round, I was kind of like, okay, they'll start to come off the board now. Here we go, and it just was not happening. It just wasn't. Like, I thought Cody would go higher, and after he was sliding, I was like, well, like, who's gonna go? Like, I knew that it kind of was what it meant for everyone else.
Man, it was so tough. And here's the thing. I thought Cody, after seeing how like pro day and stuff went and just like how the noise seemed a bit quieter as things went on, I was like, okay, I think he's a sixth or seventh. Like he's going to get drafted, but I think he's one of those 2 rounds. The one that shocked me the most, and I'm not going to lie to you, Josh Joyner. I
Yes.
thought for sure this dude is going in the 5th round, at worst, 6th round. This dude tested out of his mind at the combine. He's an athletic freak. He was the fastest, most explosive in some of these metrics. He had the size. That's everything that you're wanting as a scout. He was putting out there. Now, did he have the production to go with it well, he had a lot of pressures. He had a ton of pressures. He had a high number of sacks in his junior year. Came down a little bit last year, but still, the measurables, these coaches, they're like, bro, the measurables, the size, oh, yeah, we can make that happen. We can make that
Yeah.
work. They didn't do it in college, but we gonna make this dude a freak. Like, people do that all the time, right? And there were guys that got drafted that had less production than him, that had size and measurables and whatnot. So I was shocked that Josh Joyner's name didn't come off. I literally was like down to the like last 3 picks. I was like, bro, one of these has to be Josh because he should not be falling.
Yeah.
And he didn't get drafted, and I was shook. And now he was one of the first names out there for a UDFA deal, ended up signing with the Raiders. And then the other one that kind of caught me out by surprise, you and I had talked about Max Brosmer, thought he would get drafted, thought there was a good shot, but we did both admit there's a chance he goes undrafted. There's still that opportunity that he doesn't get drafted on draft day. We both said that. We both were 100% admitting that. We didn't want it to go that way, but we knew it was a reality. But when you look at what happened in this draft, and 13 quarterbacks got drafted, and the North Dakota State dude got drafted above him. There was an Graham Mertz who used to play for Wisconsin, then went to Florida, and then got replaced by a true freshman at Florida. And then when the freshman got hurt, they were like, Graham, I guess we'll let you play. And then I'm pretty sure Graham got hurt again. And some team was like, yeah, we're going to draft this guy.
We could still take him just because we know his name.
And not only that, they took him in the 6th round. I was like, what? What are we doing here?
But it worked out because he stayed on my Vikes, baby.
Yes, it did work out. Max Brosmer, I tweeted during the draft, I said, if Max Brosmer goes to the 49ers, the Rams, or the Vikings, he will thrive in that room for years to come. Will he be a starter? Probably not, unless something goes wrong and maybe he gets an opportunity, but he will be a voice that you want in that room that can help, that can contribute, that can break things down, that can help whoever is the starter. Max is going to be a valuable voice in a room, and I think he could be a quality backup guy too. I think of your like Josh McCowns, who is the quarterback coach with the Vikings, who was in the league for so long and was a valuable voice in rooms. I think of Case Keenum, who is a guy who has had spot starts and has made a name for himself at times, but he is a high quality backup. That is what I think Max Brosmer can be. So him landing with KOC, who is this QB whisperer, and I'm saying this as a Packer fan, but your coach is great with quarterbacks. So when you're talking about JJ McCarthy, probably going to be the starter, whatever. I get it. They traded for Sam Howell. Cool. Dude fixes quarterbacks. Yep. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Howell is a 1-year thing here and then he's gone. But Max can be that long-term backup. He can be that sure and steady thing with JJ to build a relationship, to have that quality room. And I saw people comp Max Brosmer to CJ Beathard and to Nick Mullins. Well, both of those dudes have been quality backups who have stepped up and started in times, and I think that Max Brosmer found a great spot in the undrafted free agent landing spots.
I did too, and he got paid. Like it's not undrafted. It's almost a better deal than what if he would have went in like the 6th or 7th round. It's a better contract. So, I mean, good for him. I think it sucks. Like, obviously, you want to get your name called. That's the dream. Right. But it doesn't work out that way all the time. So, and getting $250 guaranteed that's a great deal as a
those
whatever you're at, third string quarterback now. Like
those top end undrafted guys, they get good money and they get a real opportunity. You saw that with your
Absolutely.
brother,
Oh
and
yeah.
he made the roster, and he is still with the Cowboys. And I hope he's thriving. I hope he's going to kill it and crush it this year. Tight end too. Let's make it happen.
That would be
But
great. Be great.
Max Brosmer was another guy who got one of those high preferred free agent deals. So I think the Vikings have him in their plans. Like it's not
Oh
just
yeah.
like oh, we're doing this because he's a Minnesota guy and it's for the press and we want to make sure. Like I felt like that was kind of what Tanner Morgan was, and all love and respect to Tanner Morgan, but like it seemed like it was more of a like yeah we'll help it out sort of thing. Whereas this one feels like no, we want you in this room. Like so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. No, I agree. That of the free agent signings, other than John Joyner going to the Raiders, because I'm pretty sure I said he should go to the Raiders because the black and silver is cold. Him and Cody are gonna look so badass. Those are the ultimate uniforms. They
And
look
they get
so
to be
cool.
with Max Crosby. That
Yeah,
talk about defense and wanting to learn from someone.
that's
That's the
what
guy
I
for you.
will say. It's unfortunate though that Max Crosby never gets hurt. That guy does not come off the field. So like, if there's somebody you have to play behind, that's the last person you want because
Well,
you
maybe
ain't
Josh trying to be on the other side of Max
exactly
Crosby.
meet you at
He's
the
like, teach
quarterback.
me
I'll
and
meet
I'll
you at
be
the
on the
quarterback.
opposite for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But let's talk about a couple of the other undrafted guys. I want to know whose landing spots you like the most. Actually, first, let's talk about the drafted guys. We haven't even got to the guys who
Yeah, yeah.
actually
We
drafted and selected. We've got Ariante Ursary, second round to the Texans, Justin Wally, third round to the Colts, and then Cody Lindenberg, seventh round to the Raiders. Congratulations to all three of those guys. None of them shocked me that they got drafted, and now I'm looking forward to what they can do. With that, I guess how do you feel about those landing spots? How are you feeling for those guys specifically?
I mean, obviously, feel great. I'm super excited. Ariante Ursary is that's an awesome system to be in. That's a great spot to land.
That just
Uh,
lost their left tackle too.
yeah, that's why I'd like. It's a good spot. And that team is going to be so good. I'm very excited about that. And I mean, D-Jack's there too now. But here we go, talking about undrafted guys again. Um, And Cody with the Raiders, I just really like that. I don't know what it is about it, but I think I was gonna be excited no matter where Cody went, just because you after watching him for so many years, you know he's a dog, and so seeing him on an aggressive defensive team is exciting.
Yeah, with Pete Carroll too. Pete Carroll is the
Yeah,
head coach. I feel like that'll be a really good fit.
it's gonna be awesome.
Um,
Pete Carroll's gonna love him. He's gonna
yep,
love him.
yep. I am a big fan of Justin Wally. I don't really know how to feel about the Colts overall. I don't know too much about the Colts if I'm being honest, but they picked him in the third round, which means they love this guy. They wanted him in this room. They want him to be a contributor. I know a lot of analysts were like, "Oh, he'll be a fifth round, sixth round." I saw some people putting him in the seventh round. I think you and I were like, "Nah, fifth round," or I would hope, fingers crossed, fourth round. And they were like, "Nah, y'all are all wrong. This dude is a third round corner." Oh, and by the way, he did all of his workouts in a cast, and we still love him this much. Justin Wally is going to be an impact player this year as a rookie. You can book that right here, right now. He's going to be playing snaps in games, like for sure. I'm excited by that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited too. I was kind of the same way. That's why I was letting you touch on him because I don't know nothing about that Colts defense. I don't.
But then, yes, we have our undrafted guys. We've already talked about Max Brosmer and John Joyner because we were a little bit shocked that they didn't get drafted, especially Joyner on that front. But let's talk about the other guys outside of them. You got Daniel Jackson to the Houston Texans, Jack Henderson to the Carolina Panthers, Tyler Cooper to the Green Bay Packers, Ethan Robinson to the Miami Dolphins, Nick Callerup to the Seattle Seahawks, and Marcus Major to the Baltimore Ravens. Any of those ones super stand out to you that you're like, heck yes, I love this fit. Hopefully they can make it and grind?
Marcus Major to the Ravens.
Okay.
It feels like a match made in heaven. Like two or three of the Ravens running backs were going to go down. Well, Derrick Henry was healthy all last year, but up until Derrick Henry got there was always like just a carousel of dark skinned cats coming in at running back. Like, who is this guy? We don't know. They all look alike. I think
They all run hard.
They all run hard and angry. None of them are over like 6 feet tall. Like Derrick Henry came in there and switched up the whole vibes of that room. but that it does seem like a good spot for him. I think that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I also love Jack Henderson to Carolina just because I feel like Carolina has been pretty decent on defense, but they love versatility and they love to use people in creative ways. And I feel like that's exactly what he is and the
Oh yeah.
speed he brings. So if he can make that roster, I think he can actually make an impact. Ethan Robinson to Miami, that could be fun. I know they're talking about trading Jalen Ramsey, so maybe that gives more opportunity for him to try and step up and earn a spot. Tyler Cooper to Green Bay. It's awesome because he's a Wisconsin guy. So going home to Green Bay, we'll see if he can make that roster. I'm going to tell you, Daniel Jackson, I've said multiple times on the show, this dude has been my favorite receiver to watch with the Gophers. Like, I'm not saying he's the best receiver to come out here. I'm not saying he's the flashiest receiver, the most talented receiver, but he has been my favorite receiver to watch and cover over the years. But I don't think I like the landing spot in Houston just because they've already got Nico Collins.
Mhm.
They have Tank Dell, who has a really good relationship with the quarterback, so he's probably not going anywhere, even though he's on the mend from another injury. And then they drafted two guys from Iowa State, teammates in the second and third round, who are obviously going to get a ton of shots to make an impact just with the draft capital they got. So that's four guys in front already for sure. And that makes me a little bit nervous just because I'm like, man, I would really love for D-Jack to get a shot to grind and show people like Adam Thielen style. Like, no, I'm that guy. And I think he really can be, but I don't know if he'll get much opportunity with this Houston team.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but you never know. I mean, even if he gets, maybe he's a practice squad and somebody else picks him up off the practice squad, and gets him a shot. But I think getting signed somewhere is a good start because I
Oh,
think
for
it,
sure.
it would
Absolutely.
have been it would have been worse if it was kind of like if he was kind of like a mini camp invite guy. I
Yep.
think that's a tough way to go. So
Absolutely.
just getting on a team and hopefully making a practice squad, and then somebody goes down somewhere else, and you get that opportunity, and then they keep you on on that roster. So I think it's still good for him, but yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a tough room to be in.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying too, though. It's way better you found a spot to sign somewhere and actually have a shot, a really good shot, as opposed to
Yeah,
like having to earn a shot, even having to
yeah,
earn a sliver of a shot at a rookie mini camp. So I feel you there. I was just hoping like maybe he'd go to like San Fran or something that's like, oh, you know what? We really didn't draft anybody. Like we just moved Debo, Brandon Ayuk. Who knows if we're gonna keep him or not? Like maybe then he's like, oh, look, I'm that guy. Sneaks in and gets there, or something like that.
yeah.
Start a
No, I
room
get
like
that.
that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Awesome. Well, those are all of the undrafted
Whoa,
guys.
whoa, whoa. We didn't talk about my boy Danny Strigal.
Oh, you are so right, bro. How did I
That's
not have that on the
crazy.
list? You see, and that is just pure disrespectful. First,
That's
I want to apologize firsthand to the Strigal family. I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed that one. But Danny Strigal to the Jacksonville Jaguars. How you feeling?
I love it. That's gonna be sick. That's gonna be awesome then. Him, Josh Allen, like doing his thing down there. Actually, it would be actually a really awesome year to be a rookie for the Jaguars because nobody knows any of the rookies. It's just Travis Hunter. If you were to ask
True.
anybody in the NFL or anybody who follows football, Travis Hunter is the only new player on that team. You can just go in, put your head down, go to work. Nobody's going to be paying attention to you. You can just do your thing. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No, I love it. It's a good spot for him. I'm looking forward to. Here's the thing, dude. I think about Danny Strigal, how Danny Strigal looks, and that sounds really weird out of context. But
Pause.
he's got the Florida flow, bro. The
Yeah,
hair, the
yeah,
slick back hair. He's got the
yeah,
Florida flow. He is like, he's a Florida dude. I mean, he's a Minnesota dude, but he looks like a Florida dude. He's gonna fit in well down there. He's gonna love the vibes, and it's gonna be great.
yeah. There is a weird correlation between Minnesota dudes and Florida dudes.
Oh yes.
Unfortunately, we
Oh
don't
yeah.
do as many illegal things as Florida dudes do, but they're in the same thing. Just let's go fishing and rip some beers on the weekend.
There's a huge reason why a ton of people snowbird from Minnesota to
Yes.
Florida when they get to that peak age.
No, I
That's
think
just a fact.
he's gonna do great down there. He's gonna be at Duval.
Duval. All right, I got two final questions for you before we kind of move on and get ready to wrap this show up. But the first one I want to know is, do you think that Ariante Ursary suffered to helmet school syndrome once again? Do you think that he fell maybe further than he should have simply because he didn't have the Buckeye on his helmet, he didn't have the M on his helmet, or Penn State, or whatever you want to put? He was Minnesota, so they're like, first round talent showed out, but let's take him in the mid/early second round.
I am 100% biased, and I am 100% sure and positive that is what happened. Because for some reason, I don't know I think it's just Minnesota sports in general. Like, we just get washed out of anything. No matter how successful we are, we're just not in the picture. Like, people just forget about us. The T-Wolves are tearing it up right now, and we will still not be like, but no matter how far we go, we will not be talked about in the finals. Like, it's just not possible.
I don't know. I think that narrative is changing with the Wolves. Only with the Wolves. I agree
Only with
with
the
that
Wolves.
statement
But look at how
100%.
far we've gotten.
Yes.
Like, the Wild make it to playoffs every year, and they just kind of like, it's whatever. They're going to lose in the playoffs. But whatever. That's besides the point with college football. The Gophers do get stuck in where we've had how many 8-win seasons now, like 7-win seasons, where we are competitive in the Big Ten. Big Ten. And people just act like we're not playing Big Ten schools.
No,
like, yeah, we're not beating Ohio State, but these guys are competing against D lineman from Ohio State. Like,
right.
Like, he's blocking. He had how many pressures allowed against Ohio State? Or
he
how many
shut
pressures?
Down Abdul Carter, who was the third pick in this draft.
Yeah. So, like, but for some reason that gets washed out when it comes to the draft. It feels like it's like, oh, he played for Minnesota, but like we just whatever. He's just a Minnesota guy.
I'm with you 1,000%. Like, for example, if you take the M off of Job Joyner's helmet and you put on the Buckeye stickers, he's getting drafted. It's not going to be undrafted. I might not be in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, but he's getting drafted. If you put those Buckeye stickers on his helmet, he's not an undrafted guy.
Nobody thinks about it in reverse. Ohio State players are playing down competition. If you're on Ohio State, chances are the dude across from you is not as good as you. Now flip that around and you have a stellar game against Abdul Carter. Like, that should say more than Abdul Carter beating down on somebody from Minnesota.
Beating down on
if that makes sense.
Is not going to see their name called.
Exactly.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that one. It's just sickening sometimes, but it's gonna continue to happen regardless, unfortunately. All right, my final question on this draft talk, and then we'll move forward, is do you think Minnesota can keep the second round streak going next year? Now, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, the Gophers have now had 6 straight seasons where they have had a player drafted in either the 1st or 2nd round. That's the last 6 drafts they've had someone in the 1st or 2nd round. They are one of 9 schools in the country to have that happen. The other schools in that grouping, the other 8 schools, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, and LSU.
Ever heard of any of those schools?
Ever heard of any of them? But then again, you talk about, we just said, helmet schools, and we're sitting there putting people in that same conversation, and they're like, nah, forget Minnesota. But they'll take any of those other schools. Anyways, I'm going to get off this soapbox before we go back to it. But do you think the Gophers can keep that streak going?
I'm thinking about it. Darius Taylor, right? He probably, if he has 1,000-yard season, if he tears it up, I still don't know if he's going to go 2nd round because of the Minnesota sticker. That is a real thought. Like, when I'm thinking about it in my brain, like, no matter how good he is, how young he is he still going to be like, well, we can get him later. Everyone's going to be like, we can get him later. If Coy lights the world on fire again,
but he for whatever reason next year,
he'd be so young.
He can't get drafted next year. He has to play 3 years.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
the only 2 people I think that have a shot are Darius and Anthony Smith. Those are kind of our best bets. It's going to be tough, but here's the thing.
Darius going to have to go on a Heisman type of run for people to take him. Imagine if he even wins the Heisman. If he won the Heisman, tell me you can't see a world where he still only goes 2nd round.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it sucks, but I can see it.
Here's the thing with Darius Taylor, and I know Ryan Burns said that our best shot at having that streak continue is Anthony Smith. I disagree. I think it is Darius Taylor, and I'm not just saying that because I think Darius is a huge talent and whatnot, but I think it's because you just looked at this NFL draft, and this was stacked with running backs in this draft. There were all sorts of running backs in this draft. It was said to be a very strong running back draft. Next year's class isn't looked at in that way. I've already heard people talking about it. They don't even know who they would say is the top running back in the class, but I've heard Darius's name listed in the top 5 on almost any platform I've listened to when it talks about the guys for next year's class. So you've got Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, you've got Nick Singleton from Penn State, and then outside of those two, Darius's name is in that next conversation, and I think with a good season, he could probably be in the same conversation as those two. And then you're talking about if you can be a top 3 back in the class, you should hear your name on day 2 at the minimum.
Yeah.
Usually you have like probably 3 or 4 backs that are drafted between the first and second rounds. So if he can put his name as a top 3 or 4 back, I think he has the better shot at keeping that streak alive.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's the best. But yeah, even after this year, it's again like you know what these guys are capable of, and just watching them not get drafted is tough. Especially when you get to the 7th round and you're hearing guys' names like that have never. That's the 7th round was it 2 years now? We've had guys who never played football before that'll just get drafted randomly. They'll be like, oh,
this ex-basketball player's coming in.
Rugby guy from New Zealand who just wants to get a shot out here. Like sign that guy undrafted, man.
We're drafting our long snapper right now, and it's like, bro, come on, like. What are we doing here?
Oh.
No, I feel you. But hopefully we can keep that streak going. That's going to wrap up our Gophers draft talk. We're going to wrap this whole show up with 2 final questions. The first one is going to be looking at the 2025 schedule. I will list it off for you because Tristyn hasn't got it burned in his brain yet. He knows it's an easier one in his opinion, but he doesn't know the order of it.
I just know 10 and 2.
I'm going to list this schedule out, and I want to know, aside from our rivals, so Wisconsin, Iowa, out of the conversation. Yeah. And I'm not talking about what you want the most. So probably Oregon, probably Ohio, I can't even say it, Ohio State, probably out of the conversation here. My question is, which school on the schedule, aside from our rivals, do you need a win against? Not that you want one, but like, bruh, if I see the Gophers take an L against this school, I am going to be disheveled. Now, I guess you could say the FCS school and things like that, but you get where I'm going with the question.
Yep.
So we've got Buffalo, Northwestern State, California, Rutgers, Ohio State, Purdue, Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. That's the schedule in its order. Out of those schools that I listed, we'll take the rivals out. Which one of those games stands out to you that you're like, I need a win? I cannot hear the other fan base talk about beating us. I cannot see us drop that game. What are you thinking?
So my immediately, well, obviously, yes, the FCS schools. Those will set the whole tune. Those will set the tone for this whole season. If we drop one of those, I will be a sad, sad boy. But what stuck out, I'm thinking Rutgers. It's a winnable game, and it was a painful, brutal loss last year to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will be a huge point where we can be like, okay, now let's build some momentum. Like it's a good, we should show up and handle business game. Mm-hmm. The other one I was going to say is Nebraska, but we kind of always beat Nebraska. So I don't think I would be like heartbroken if they got one in the last 10 years. So yep. I'd be like, well, yeah, you were due. But I think Rutgers is a good one to be like, okay, this should be winnable game. Let's take care of business. A Big Ten opponent, like it matters. Let's just roll through.
Yes, I had 3 games circled when I put this question down. One of them was Rutgers, like you were saying, for the reasons you said, the heartbreaking loss last year and whatnot. Also, Ethan Kaliakmanis is back, and he is coming back to Minnesota. So, like, he stole one from you last year. I feel like you got to steal one back. You got to make it happen. You can't lose to Rutgers 2 years in a row. Otherwise, people are going to be like, yeah, but you lost to Rutgers. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a great season. You can go 9-3. Yeah, but you lost to Rutgers again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel you on that one. Nebraska was also one of the 3 games I circled on the schedule. And I had an argument with somebody. in comments the other day, and some channel, high college football channel, was talking about how Nebraska uh, had an easy month of October. They should easily win all of their games in October. And their games in October were like Northwestern, Purdue, Minnesota, and then someone else. And I was like,
They don't beat us though.
Coach Fleck is 6-1 against Nebraska. um, and then somebody came at me and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's talk about how you've won games lately against Nebraska, but if you look at the coaches from this coach beyond, Minnesota like never won against us." I was like, "Bro, we're talking about wins next season.
See,
Why would I be talking about your coaches from over a decade ago?"
I
Like,
love college football fans so much. I love college football fans so much because when we're talking about something like that, like right now, yes, we're 6-1 again in the last against them in the last 7 years. People will start to pop off and be like, "Well, in the past," like you talked about. But then when Minnesota comes in and be like, "We won the most national championships ever," everyone's like, "Yeah, in 1902." Like
living
what?
in the past. Like,
Yeah, like college football fans are great. We're all so irrational. It's great.
bruh. And I was like, so we're 6-1 with our current football head coach, who has played your current football head coach and beat him. And then on top of that, even if you look at last year, where you finally made a bowl game, every team you lost to, Illinois, UCLA, USC,
Like
well, guess
what do we?
what? The Gophers beat them last year. Like, what are
You
we
got to be
doing
okay
here?
with just being bad. Like
So just
they're
know
in a slump. They might be back. Nebraska's a great program. They might be back eventually, but it's just
they're
not yet.
always the biggest offseason winners.
Oh,
Always. They're
oh,
always the biggest offseason
sold
winners.
out. Well, that's good. The games are all sold out. Don't you know
So
that? They
that is
sell out the games.
partially a reason why that game is probably my biggest need. I think that's the one I will pick just because
You
I
got
I,
recency bias.
I cannot stand their fan base. Cannot stand it. But if my third game on that schedule was Michigan State, because we've been owning them lately. Love that.
Mhm.
But Joe Rossi, it's simply because of Joe Rossi, him leaving us to go there, take a kind of lateral job. And it's back here at home. I just want PJ and this offense to just put them in the dirt and be like, you shouldn't have left, bro. We wouldn't have had to go the route of finding, our defensive coordinator last year, who then got poached. We wouldn't have had to go all these different ways. But thank you for your service because you trained up Danny Collins and hopefully he puts it and shows out. So Michigan State was up there for me. I think if I had to pick between the three, I'm taking Nebraska, but all three have a great case.
Yeah. No, I like those. I like all three of those.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to close out the show and open the show every week with a fun question from ChatGPT on the Gophers. And I'm picking a random one. I haven't even read the question officially. So here we go. If Goldie had a twin sibling who cheered for Iowa, what kind of rivalry would that be? I don't understand that question. We're not going to go with that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. But Goldie's twin sibling would be Marooney, probably. The
Yeah,
name would
go.
be Marooney.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. If Huntington Bank
Rooney.
Stadium could talk, what secrets would it spill about the past games?
Ooh, secrets would it spill about past games? I'm trying to think of anything controversial.
Dog,
Do
I
you
think
remember?
Huntington. Yep, no, go.
Do you remember? Oh, I can't remember who we were playing. The squirrel game when there was a squirrel. I know it's happened before, but there was a squirrel on the field and we were
Mm.
losing. We were losing, and as soon as the squirrel was on the field, we ended up winning the game. I
Yes,
don't
okay.
remember who we were playing. I
I
can't
don't
remember.
remember.
I just remember people tweeting about it, and like Fox Sports was tweeting it and stuff. But it would be the secret was that the squirrel was let in on purpose to shift the
Yep,
vibes of the game.
yep. Stadium ratted you out. I would say, so you know how we've learned some weird things about Coach Fleck and when he wins the trophies and things like that. Like we heard
Yep.
that they slept with the axe in the bed with them and things like that. Strange things. I think we'd hear some more of those strange things.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Huntington Bank Stadium will be like, yo, bro, yeah, I don't want to know this, but I got some dirt. Let's just say there was some Flavor Flav music in the background, if you know what I'm saying. All
Just
right, well,
in the trophy room.
oh God, we're
Tell it.
gonna wrap this one up. That's gonna do it for us here at the Gopher
Oh,
Broke podcast. Please tell your friends about the show as we continue to build this up for the season. I imagine that the following is going to increase, but it's probably going to be like once we hit late August. But if you know folks that want to talk about Gophers right now, they want to get in on the action, tell them about our show on YouTube or wherever they get podcasts at the Gopher Broke podcast. Until next time, we'll see you then. This is Kane, Rob, and Tristyn Spann-Ford signing off. Take it easy, and also we are pro shows.